It's the best tool that we found out there, and we used it with a tool, Build Your Business. And then I just want you to imagine that if we were going to do a module right now where we're talking about how to build your tribe, but we turned on the camera and we're going to share screen, we could share a PowerPoint. I'm going to share some live shots right now. And Terry and I are just going to have a little discussion about the demo, using a demo of Zoom to talk about tribe building. Does that make sense?
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So in order to build our tribe for our book launch, Clout Matters, one of the big things that we have to do is we have to take this large group of people that are out in the world and find out who is interested in it. So we don't have a classroom camera turned on everybody. We're not the NSA, so we don't have the camera turned on everybody. So we have to ask people to basically raise their hands and say, yes, I'm interested in that topic. And for those of you who don't know, Clout is a tool that helps you measure your online influence. Let me take you over to Clout real quickly. And we're not going to go through a big explanation of Clout today, but it's on a scale of 0 to 100. How influential are you? That is, when you do a post, how many people react to it? Do they like it? Do they comment? Do they share it with others? If you do a tweet, do they retweet it? Do they like the tweet? All those different things. Because it's not just a matter of how many followers you have or how many fans you have. It's how many people are actually engaging with you. That's the measure of true influence on social media. So one of the things that we really like about it is that it has this scoring capability right here. So you can see my score. It's generally very steady. I mean, literally, I've been at 77. I've gone up to 79, down to 74. But generally, I'm right at a 77 day in, day out. And actually, you see, and it measures over 90 days. So it's not just your influence. Like if you had a big post 2 days ago, your score's not going to zap up because it's going to measure it out, level it out over what you've been doing the last 90 days. And so actually recently, this is highly unusual for me. Terry has some of these often. It would just call a little blip where my score dropped down a good bit. It dropped down to 74. And actually, I did send support at Clout a note, and I said, something weird's going on here. My accounts are all connected, and but my score dropped. There's no real reason. And at the time, they sent back and they said, no, everything looks fine. But you'll notice that they must have flipped some switch because my score did go right back up to 77. And so I'm happy with that. That's a good score for me. It really takes almost celebrity status to get into the 80s. And I would tell those of you who have a Wikipedia page, if you connect your Wikipedia page to your Clout account, that's going to give you an extra 10 to 20 point bump. I know we helped Joel. Joel, you're out there, right? Where are you, Joel? Wave your hand. I don't see you. Joel there?
Joel is not here. Joel's not here, Gina.
Okay, he sent me a note late last night saying he thought he was going to be able to make it, but I guess not because he was supposed to have been out of town. So in any case, we helped Joel connect his Wikipedia to his Clout account, and his score shot up a good bit. So that's cool. Terry, I'm going to walk down to the bottom of this page, which I know is one of your favorite parts of it. Can you tell our audience a little bit about what you like about this part of Clout?
Yeah, as you'll notice, Gina, scrolling down there, you'll see some posts, some words. Don't worry about the actual word. That's not as important. But you'll see that with 3 green dots over there out of 4. The fourth one on the far right of that is gray. This is showing you the amount of reception, the amount of juice that you got out of it. You'll notice the next one down below that, it has 3 as well. Gina, can you scroll on down even farther? And I'll see some others that might not have 3 dots.
Yes, just a second. I was trying to do something fancy with the annotation, but let's not do that.
Okay, right here. That's perfect. Notice right here, one, we have 2 green dots. And the other one below that, 1 green dot, and then 2 below that, and then 3. This is really good information. Many times when you're working with social media, you'll put out a post, you'll put something on Facebook, or you'll send a tweet, and you think, boy, this one will be really good. And you don't really know how effective was it. How effective, you might think it's dandy, but you're not the one that's buying your products and services. You want to see what others are saying, how they're responding. Clout is an excellent tool for measuring that, and it's already there for you. If you have a Twitter account, by default, you have a Clout score. So you would go over to Clout, and again, that's with a K, KLOUT.com. Make sure that you've connected your Facebook, connect your Twitter account, your LinkedIn, YouTube, and there's some others as well. Those are some of the major tools that you'll want to make sure are connected. Then you have a chance to say, oh, I know this particular post really did well because, hey, we got 3 or 4 green dots on there, or 5. You can see, hey, this one got a lot of reception. Or that one that I thought was going to be really good, it just didn't go anywhere. So that's good information to know. Don't take it personally. Just look at it and realize, okay, we need to adjust on that. And we need to start doing more like those posts that did generate. So go back over and see, where did I get 5 little green dots? And go from there. Tom, did you have a question?
Yeah, Terry, question. I was trying to think about how to do that gracefully. I guess visually was disturbing enough, but it didn't interrupt your
That's all right.
Go back down to the one that had the 1 button. So notice that the content of this one that only had 1 like was almost like an interfering status message that was out of your control. It's not something that you would have posted. It says, Mahdi Hassan Anik interacted with you on Facebook. Thank you so much. So talk about that, where things come in that I don't think that's something that you or Gina would intentionally put into your stream to influence others. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely not. That's just someone who posted on my wall. And in fact, I probably will go in and delete that. I'm sure none of you have ever had a Facebook troll who says, oh, on public, please accept my friend request. And, they interact with a few of your posts and you think, okay, I'll do this. So I did that. And of course, he starts trying to chat with me privately. I say, I don't do that. I don't chat with people I don't know privately. Please don't do this. He kept on. I unfriended him, but he still can post on my wall. So I haven't gone so far as to block him yet. But yeah, that's a good point. So my post didn't get a low rating like that, but his did. And I can go in and delete the post. But that's good to see. So that's impacting my score because it's a low rating post that's reflecting in my score. So you bring up a very good point, Tom, that I can just go in and delete that one.
Right.
Yeah, and another thing you might look at also for those of you that are working with social media, which is most all of us, notice what we've got right there. Gina, go back up where you were right there. You see there's one there with a March 9th post from Mahdi Hassan. You got 1 dot. On another one, you did a program with Marilyn Suttle, another NSA member up in Michigan, and you did a blab with this, giving a lot of information about what to do when you get bad reviews, how to work with that. That generated 2. And then you'll notice there's a 3rd one down there, and you think, okay, what was it about the 3rd one that generated more information? It was also on the 9th when you said, sad to hear there was another problem at a Chipotle restaurant in Massachusetts. I ate at one in Orlando on Monday. How about you? Et cetera. This is something, when you think about it, that makes sense. When you talk about a current issue, like the Chipotle restaurants and what they've had, and then now there was another eruption of it. We're not saying good or bad on that. I'm just saying look at from the point of view of getting vibes, getting good information. When you can tie into that, that's going to get a lot more juice for social media and ultimately boosting your clout score than if you have something else like the above here we have Mahdi Hassan, I forget the person's name there, that came and got just 1 star. And so that makes it different. However, suppose that one person was not whoever this gentleman is, the Mahdi or whatever, that gentleman, I can't read it right now. Gina, could you scroll back up there? There we are. Yeah, that Mahdi Hassan Anik. Yeah. So that person probably not as well known. But if you had some celebrity who was well known, a lot of people saw it, that would then generate the review. So what you want to do within social media is to look for what works with your audience. Each audience will like something that others won't. If we have within the National Speakers Association many celebrities, people who are well known within NSA, and some that are well known not only within NSA but also outside. Those people interacting with you matters a lot. And that will help to boost your clout score. And more than anything, it's helping you to understand what you should be doing on social media.
Yeah, so I just switched over from Facebook. I can check the same thing on Twitter. I'm not as active on Twitter these days, so that none of those are probably going to have any five dots, but they have a couple of 2s. And you can see also, how do I know that I'm not as influential on Twitter? Well, Clout tells me. You can see there to the left, the Facebook. That's where I have 54% of my influence, 28% on Twitter, 3% on LinkedIn, and 11% on Instagram. Instagram is a very influential network for Clout, as are Facebook and Twitter. LinkedIn, not so much, because LinkedIn still is not real social. They're increasing their amount of social component, but it's still not terribly social relative to the other networks and how Clout measures them. So here's a good Clout tip for you. If you are, it's going to ask you whether you want to connect your Facebook personal profile or your Facebook business page. And I dare say for most of you that if you connect your personal profile, you're going to have a better score than if you connect your business page. So that's just the way it works. And if you have a specific question, you can send me an email, gina@ginacarr.com, and I'll tell you more about that. So the thing that happened is this book, this service came out back at the end, I guess in the beginning of 2009. I started tracking it and following it, trying to look for influencers in my field and the clients that I was working to help market, to look for influencers in their field. And I realized Clout was really not very well understood. And that was the impetus for Terry and I writing the book about it. So we're writing this book and we're building the tribe at the same time. So back to the issue of how do we build the tribe? Well, you got to have this contact. You want to be able to communicate with people that are interested in this. And one of the things that we did that was very simple was we started a Facebook group. Now, let me go back to, and let me guys, if you could see my URL, what I'm going to do up here is I'm just typing in raise your Clout score. You can see that right there. It recognizes what I'm looking for, cloutscore.com. And this is a really good tip for you if you want to have an active Facebook group, which I think Facebook groups are incredibly powerful virtual clubhouses where you can house the people that are interested in the topic that you're talking about. You can have real-time communication with them, ask them their thoughts, share what you're thinking, and you can really build your tribe. So number one, most powerful tool on social media today or in the world today, to me, is Facebook group. So, but rather than tell people like on a meeting like this, go to facebook.com/group/raise your Clout score. I just got a URL, raiseyourcloutscore.com, and I redirected it to the group. And just as another example of that, I bet several of you guys know, I'm going to type in Perry Peeps, and I bet you guys know where that's going to go. Who knows where that's going to go? Anybody? Okay. Lynn Rose from your chapter is very active on Periscope, and she did the same thing. When she's in her Periscopes, she would say, hey, go to perrypeeps.com. It redirected to her Facebook group where she put together people, and she has 66 members right now of people who are interested in knowing more about what she's doing. So she can't stay on them on Periscope with them all the time. She can get to know them better through a Facebook group. So I hope I'm making my point with that as far as why Facebook groups are, we're not going to go into big detail right now on why Facebook groups are critical, but they are, and it was a really important point for us in our book, because that's where we asked for people to review chapters, to share our social media links when the book came out, to go out and give us reviews on Amazon, because when you get a lot of reviews on Amazon right away, then Amazon's more likely to show your book to other people. So Terry, what would you like to add to that?
Oh, I would just put an exclamation mark behind that, because that's something that is one of the most powerful features in Facebook is groups. And think of these groups kind of like silos to themselves. You might have an interest in race car driving, and also an interest in baseball, and then an interest in knitting. You know, and all three of those, you would have different groups for each one, of course. And I learned from my friend Harvey McKay, who is an NSA member also, and Harvey has talked about having lots of groups that you're involved in from a networking point of view. Facebook gives you the ability to do this very well. And the groups give you the ability to create that secret group. They literally call it secret, or it can be a closed group. And you can then allow only the people in there that you want. Think about how you could start using groups and that would be appropriate for your subject matter, the particular area that you want to address. And Facebook is an ideal way to do that.
This is particularly, these groups, this part of tribe building is particularly important for events. So Terry and I are both involved in a big event that's coming up this summer in Las Vegas called Freedom Fest. Terry is the MC, and I'm working on the marketing team. And there'll be people there like Judge Andrew Napolitano. Last year, Donald Trump was there. Let's see, George Foreman's going to be there. There are a lot of celebrities that are going to be there. It's quite cool. So part of the marketing strategy and the tribe building strategy that I've chatted with, that I've convinced essentially the leaders of Freedom Fest to do is we're going to start up a closed Facebook group for the people who've already registered. So it's a benefit to register quickly so that you can get involved in the Facebook group. You can get to know the other people. And in that group, we're going to be asking questions. What are other speakers you'd like to see? What questions do you want to ask these speakers? Those sorts of things that will really generate interest. Let's see. We're not looking at the hands right now, but if you could turn back to the audience, I'd like to see a show of hands.
I think we've got a question coming up there. It looks like someone in the back.
Okay. Yes. Let's take the question.
Hi, Gina. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Marv. Hi, good to see you.
Great seeing you, Terry. Thank you. Gina, I took your advice in the Voices of Experience a few months ago, and I outsource my social networking. However, I now have 250 readers reading my book on Facebook. I just got input today from chapter 13. It's a fabulous approach. Now, when the book is out, what is my next step that I should do to monetize my book using your approach?
Okay, let me clarify. These people are in your group, not on a page, right? They're in a group?
They are in a Facebook group, and each few weeks they're getting an additional chapter. I now have, this morning, I got input on chapter 13. So I get wonderful feedback from the group to edit the book. And my question is, when the book will be finished in about 2 months, what's my next step?
Okay, great question. Well, here's the thing. You've gotten people engaged in what you're doing. And when people are engaged in what you're doing and they're trying to help you already for free, when you take that next step and say, hey, the book's available, would you buy it? Or you don't even have to say, would you buy it? A lot of people are going to buy it whether you ask them to or not. The next step would be to say, the book's going to launch in 2 weeks. Who wants to help me share it with their people on social media? Here's a special link for you. And I would set up a special page that I call Book Love. It's a Book Love page. And there you're going to have pre-printed tweets. And I say printed, it's going to be on the screen, but you're going to have already written tweets that are the right link, that have the link, that have your hashtag that you want to use. And if you're even advanced, you would have the little click to tweet link right there on it. So that's what I would do. And and then you'd have Facebook posts that they can use. You might have emails already written that they can just copy and paste into their own email. So you're going to make the instructions for them very easy, what they can do. Does that make sense?
Yes, excellent idea. Thank you.
Okay. And so then when the book comes out, hey guys, we've launched today. If you're going to buy it, if you can buy it between 12 and 1, that'll really help my Amazon numbers. I really appreciate it. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 would be, I've gotten 2 great reviews on Amazon. Who's going to be next? And literally we just kept chronicling, and I would take the whole review, copy it, paste it into the group site. And I would say, thank you, Jane, for doing that great 5-star review for us. I loved what you said, and who's going to be next? I'd paste the whole thing there, and you just keep it going. It's a real soft sell. It's a real, once again, you're in this clubhouse, you're in the room in front of them, you're talking with them about the book and what's on your mind and what you're trying to do next, and you're just sharing it with people.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah, and if I could mention another thing, Marv, that we did that is really used a lot now is doing a video of it. We did what we called a clout-a-thon, so that we used Google Hangouts, and we brought in some friends of ours that were able to talk about this, and we were able to have them talk. So, for instance, we used one person, a friend of ours named Mari Smith, who's out in San Diego, does a lot with Facebook, and just a wonderful lady. And we had her talk for about 30 minutes. Then we had a friend of ours from Denver Denver, Joel Comm, that came on and talked about it. And we had our friend of ours, Alan Stevens, an NSA, or actually a PSA member, part of the Global Speakers Federation over in London, that came on. And so think about ways that you could do that, getting people that are going to be familiar with your book or people that are in the similar field, and be able to have a broadcast that tells people what's going on. You generate excitement for that day, and then are able to get a lot more that way. Gina, I see you're still sharing screen there. Something you wanted to point to?
Yes, I was trying to go to our Cloudathon page, but there seems to be a glitch with it right now. So I was going to show them that was another part of what we did to build our group, is to have live events. You could have in-person events like old school, where you go to the bookstore. You can go to a meeting and share your book, but you also can do it virtually, the way Terry talked about. And we did a Google Hangout for 3 hours, and we had all these different people come on, and we're seeing that more and more. So we'll come back to that in a second. I see that Judy and perhaps the lovely lady in blue have questions for us. Why don't we take those questions?
Yeah, before we leave this what you did with the Twitter and the emails and all of that to help promote this, to send this out. A lot of people in the room didn't get to hear BOE, Gina, because not everyone's in national speakers. Could you go just a little more in depth in that? Because that's what prompted me to call you and Terry and say, hey, can you come out to GLAC? Because I thought it was extraordinarily brilliant the way you pre-marketed your book. Thanks.
Okay, terrific. Well, let's jump into that a little bit. If you're doing tribe building, and this is what I call my fancy PowerPoint. It's not so fancy. You know, we can do a traditional PowerPoint, but actually these little cards are real helpful for people. So part of the tribe building, these are the 3 key elements in my opinion: Facebook groups, emails, and events. So we've talked about Facebook groups a little bit right now. And the big tip there is start one. Number 2 is get a URL that's easy for you and your audience to remember, and redirect it to the group. If you don't know how to do that, your web person does. Say, hey, I bought a new domain. Can you hook it up with my Facebook group? And they will do that. But if you're in GoDaddy, it's a real simple thing to do. So second point was emails. And that's where you've got to be collecting emails. And let me show you guys. I'm going to go back to screen share. Let me show you what we did there. Now, we made the actual email opt-in part of the heading for our book website. And we offered free chapters. If you have a Facebook page, there are some modules you can plug in to ask for free chapters where they need to give you the email also. So yes, I think it's incredibly important to be able to communicate with people, because they may go to your website, they may never come back. You want to offer them something juicy. And we had a lot of people to opt in by giving them the free chapters. That enabled us to communicate with them later when the book actually was available for sale, when we offered courses about the book, when we were doing additional webinars and events about the book. So get that, if you don't have it in the header, put it prime front and center, make it a pop-up when they come to your website, that it'll pop up, put it at the end of your blog post, put it top right in the sidebar. And you see on our webpage there also, we put in the top sidebar, there's a link, if I can scroll down here, there's a link to our Facebook group. So this is one of the additional ways that if you'd like to join our Facebook group where we answer questions about Clout and share tips, go to Facebook. So made it really easy. We didn't say, do you want to join the group where you're going to help us sell our book? No, it's their benefit. Their benefit is they have questions about Clout. They want to talk about it. So ask them to join your group. This will be one of the most powerful tribe building and audience building things that you could possibly do for your business. I know you're probably saying, well, can I do that on LinkedIn? You could do a LinkedIn group, but they do not have the same level of activity, interaction, power that Facebook groups do. Let's see.
We have another question here for you.
Okay, we'll come back to events in just a minute. But yes, let's go to the next question. Yes, and you are?
My name is Orion. Thank you guys so much. I'm already learning, and I'm gonna implement a lot of things. I just launched my podcast, Stellar Life, and I started getting reviews, and that's just a beautiful way to promote it. Thank you for that, and also the little piece about asking people on the page to join the group. The way you did it is a great tip. Thank you. So with the cloud, I have 2 Facebook pages. I have 2 groups. I have my personal page, can it measure everything or just one page?
It can only measure your personal profile or your page as far as what you can link up and hook to Facebook. And that's where hook your personal profile. It will, they will tell you it does not measure what's going on in the groups, but it actually does just a little bit. So your groups are really powerful as far as it goes for your cloud score. They're not as powerful, but the truth is if you're building a lot of cloud in your group, you're going to have better interaction on your personal profile as well.
Is there another tool to measure all the groups and all the pages?
Not to my knowledge. Terry?
Yeah, I don't know of any others, although I'm sure there's probably some, but cloud is one of the best out there just for measuring, and it's free, so you can measure that. Now with some more sophisticated and more expensive tools, yeah, you can find out a lot of different elements that are available, but using cloud itself is really one of the best ways to go.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And also one more question. How do I get more people on my group besides just entering them manually or sending them email? Is there a way another way to promote the group?
Yeah, well, you've got your podcast. So in fact, a friend of mine, many of you may know a fairly new NSA member named Sean Lee Cochran. She spoke with Robert Bradford last year at the convention, and she has a podcast called Life, L-Y-F, with Sean Lee, S-E-A-N-L-A-I. And so I said, Sean Lee, you've got this great podcast going on. Put them in a group so you can talk to folks. So she did that. She redirected her lifewithseanlee.com. I think it's directed to her Facebook group now. And so when she releases a new episode, she posts it there. When she has questions about, hey, what do you guys want to hear about? What do you want my next show to be about? She posts that there. The questions that are raised in her podcast, she posts that there. So number one, call it out in your podcast. And for you guys who don't have a podcast, put it in your blog. Put it on your website, just like I showed you. We had a link right at the top of the website there. Facebook, a little heart, Facebook group. Join us and talk about whatever it is. If you do a blog, put it as a call to action at the bottom of your blog post. If you're doing a blab, give it out in the blab. So just start thinking about that. That's one of my calls to action. One of your calls to action might be to have them join an email list, and one of your calls to action might be to have them join your Facebook group. Does that give you some ideas?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what was the name of your podcast again? I want to be sure to look it up.
Stellar Life. You can go to stellarlifepodcast.com.
Stellar Life?
Yeah, stellarlifepodcast.com.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Yeah, I think
quick question, Gina and Terry, before you move on to the next topic. When you say you have a choice between using your business page and your personal page, if you use a personal page for these purposes, does that mean you really have to negate family conversations and using Facebook for truly personal social issues?
Well, you have to be very careful because we as speakers are public. And so what we're doing personally becomes part of the public image that we're sending out. And so what we want to do is be very careful on that of what we're putting out on our personal profile. And I think that goes into a whole other discussion, particularly right now. We're all sensitive to the political environment. And people have very sharp opinions on politics one way or the other. And I think we have to wonder, okay, we're going to blend that with our professional image as well. Some people can do that. If, for instance, you speak regularly about politics on a particular slant or item, then yeah, you can use that. But for most of us, if you're speaking about a different topic, be very careful. Because if somebody says, wow, you're for candidate A and I'm for candidate B, you've automatically lost half the audience all right there.
Terry, I guess what I'm asking is that Anik came into to Gina's profile there. It got one bullet. She did not intend that to be there. Now, if you've got a personal page, you got a personal wall in Facebook, and you've got cousins, carrying on the conversation that you've had since you're 12, because that's what families do. I mean, there are stories that you can't control family. Is there a way to isolate? Because if you've started a Facebook and there's just an intense amount of back and forth on non-public type of things, how do you advise people to isolate? They've used Facebook on a very personal level up until now. Is there a way to erase and isolate and keep cousin Freddie from coming in and talking about the time you you're.
And you mean legally to keep him away, right?
Well, with family, even legal doesn't help.
That's true. Things are different in some parts of the country here.
The world's colliding. George Costanza, world's colliding. How do you manage that?
That's right. Gina, you pulled up something I think you wanted to show about that.
Well, as far as what you're posting, you can control it with settings. So if you see my post right here, if I were going to post something, I can change it from public to friends only, only me. I could have more options. I could have a setting here, a group that's just a family. I could do that. Another thing I could do, and I did do for my family, is we have I call it the family reunion page, or group. Sorry, it's a group, not a page. And so what we do there is people there, my uncle has gone in and posted a Tennessee taxi. So this is a secret group, and only the people who I've invited are part of this. And so this is where I talk with my cousins and uncles and those folks. I mean, if I'm posting something else, they might come out and comment on my wall. And if they're inappropriate, I might talk to them personally or send them a message and say, hey, look, people might see that, and I use it for business a little bit. So it's not that, don't post that picture of me when I was, you just control it, and you can control it with those type of settings.
Okay, thanks a lot. That answers the question in part. I'll have to practice.
Yeah, okay, that's good. So that's my grandpa with 2 kids. Oh, how cute.
One question. Do you only have one Facebook page then? And that's what you use, personal and personal with this group, and then everything else is on your, how you select who you share with?
Yeah, and I share most everything publicly. I have a ton of Facebook pages that I manage, and many that are mine that I use for different purposes. But Facebook pages really unless you're spending money with Facebook, it's hard to get the interaction there. And you're just not going to get the interaction there that you get on your personal profile or that you get in a group. It's just the way Facebook is structured and working right now. So I would put all my effort in the group. In fact, I spend almost no time on my page or pages. For Freedom Fest, they have a pretty active page, so I will spend a lot of time there. But we're also directing those people into a group where we can have more private conversations that the world can't see. As well, we're just going to have a lot more interaction there, and people get to know each other. Then when they get to the event, they're going to walk up to people, and they're going to know them already or feel like they know them, even if they haven't met in real life. So these are the ways to really build the tribe. And for you guys thinking about online courses, this is where a Facebook group is incredibly important component. And for any sort of events that you're doing, that's where that's really good.
Yeah, very good. And I think that as we look at social media and what it can do, we see this is ongoing. Facebook right now is strong. It is one of the largest, if not the largest itself, medium that we're going to use. Twitter is still there, still a factor, but it tends to be waning a little bit right now. We see that others like Snapchat growing stronger all the time. So you want to find out where your target market is. Where are the people living that you want to reach? And it will depend on the way you want to reach them. For some people, using something like Instagram is going to be extraordinarily important. A lot of clients that I work with, we work with them directly showing how to use more video and more visual medium like Pinterest. Very important in some circles. In other circles, they really don't care. And also LinkedIn. Never neglect that, because LinkedIn is always about the business and focusing on the business side. You want that, but it has a different kind of protocol and accepted dynamics in LinkedIn than you would have at Facebook. The way I like to describe it is you want to wear the appropriate type of clothing. If you're going to a black tie dinner, you're going to obviously dress differently than if you're going to a beach party. So you have different kinds of protocols that you'll adhere to. Know the appropriate protocol and adhere to that wherever you are. I think it'll be very important. And then couple all of that with video, which will be a nice segue over to what we want to talk about here and some of the video capabilities on that. And I'm just kind of curious, Tom, do you have the ability to get more of the group here? I'm just curious, with a show of hands, going to Los Angeles, video, film, very strong there. How many of you are doing something now? Raise your hand and hold it up. You're doing something with video right now, Skype or Camtasia or something like that. I would imagine, yeah, we're seeing most hands in the room there. Excellent. And now continuing a show of hands, how many of you are using Zoom? I think we had a few, we asked that a little bit before. We see a few. How about Skype? Skype, okay, we got a lot there. And now for editing this, I have used Camtasia. ScreenFlow is another tool. There's a lot of other tools out there for that, but I'm seeing Zoom being used even more right now. Anyone using Zoom for recording and producing products? A few. Let me share some things about this with you now, because this is a way that you can make some money. We want to take this and give you some real nuts and bolts of how you can use this and how we're doing it also in making money. We're using Zoom right now. And we've got it set so that you are seeing different kinds of view. For instance, Tom, if you bring your mouse into the screen itself, you'll notice that in the upper right-hand corner, you should see either speaker view or gallery. Which one do you see?
I see gallery view.
Click on gallery right now, gallery view, and when you do that, in the audience, do you notice how it shows different kind of a view? You should see the three on the screen. Is that coming through that way now for you?
Yeah, we're tiled in between us and the two of you.
There we are. And this is what it will look like when you do that recording. This is an exceptionally good tool for creating a product that people will be able to use and be able to see. For instance, think of you creating a product on a hot topic in your area, and you have two experts. Maybe you have Mary Smith in Boston, and you've got Jane Johnson in Seattle, and they are experts in the area of oodly boodlies. And oodly boodlies is really important. People are willing to spend money for that. What you can do is bring both of them on there, and you as the moderator can ask them questions. Hey, we know there's the problem with oodly boodlies of A or B. Jane, what do you think about that? And you can get different points of view on this and create a product. And the way you'll do that, again, all you do is click on that little button that's down at the bottom to start recording. And it creates an MP4 video, really crisp and sharp video, MP4, and at the same time, it creates an M4A audio. You got an audio and a video file of it, which is perfect. One thing that we did recently on a product we have called Build Your Business. It's a product that has several modules, about 12, 13 modules in it. And we recorded on how to use Facebook for business. Another one was how to use this, for instance, here, Gina, you're bringing up the module 8, using LinkedIn for business. And you'll see over on the left-hand side, there's the various modules that people can click on. Module 1 talks about an introduction. Module 2 was a content marketing and the customer journey. And I want you to kind of watch between the lines of what we did and think about how you can use this. We brought in the video of us. You'll see, matter of fact, Gina, that's perfect right there. Freeze it, you'll see where it shows you LinkedIn videos, and then over on the right, you see me and you see Gina. We were both talking about this as we would go through the module. We were able to show LinkedIn specifics of how to search for business, how to find people, how to connect with people you've been wanting to reach but haven't reached. Here's how you do it in LinkedIn. And we were talking about that together. So the tool, again, we're using for this is Zoom. Zoom is available, and it is a money maker for you as a thought leader.
Hey, Terry.
Click to record. Got a question, Tom?
Yeah, so you recorded this. So even today we'll have right now about 43 minutes into the first hour. So we've got 43 minutes of video. If we wanted to turn this into a product, certainly we wouldn't want all of it. We'd like to edit it. So when you record on Zoom and you get your MP4 and your MP3A or 4A audio, what tools do you use to edit out the clips that are unnecessary, and you can keep the thing down to a time frame that people are willing to listen comfortably?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, because that is very important, that once you've got the raw MP4, you'll probably want to go back and do some editing, which I did. There's many tools that you can use. I use one called Camtasia Mac. Camtasia for Mac, that's or CMac we call it. It's from TechSmith, the people that have given us Camtasia Studio. And why do I use that one? Because I know it and I can use it. It's fun. It does what I need. You could also use tools like Final Cut, which is available on the Apple side. You could use Premiere, which is on the Windows and that side. You could use Windows Movie Maker. That could work. There's a lot of different tools. I like Camtasia because it's very easy to use, costs $100, and you can do the subtitles. You can bring in music. So that's what I did. For each module, we'd bring in a little bit of music. We could put some titles in. I could put subtitles in there as well. we could refer to a module.
Is there a PC version of Camtasia?
They have Camtasia Studio for the Windows side.
And then Judy has a question.
You can ask them. How long are the module, Terry? How long are
Each module varies. Some of them are like 20 minutes. Some of them might go 30, 40 minutes. It depends on the module itself. But you could have it in a length of hours and hours if you wanted. I wouldn't recommend that, though, for a module. You want to keep it in bite-sized chunks. And somewhere around 15 to 30 minutes is a good thing for what we did there. And now, Gina, you're scrolling down there. Thank you for doing that. As we see below, we put additional resources. So I brought in extra videos that I had done in my blog, or extra videos we had done, for instance, in a special area where we created it, and we did it there. Here's an interview that we did with Corey Perlman. Some of you know him as an NSA member, president of the Georgia chapter of NSA, where he specifically gave some really advanced level training on LinkedIn, what to do. And below that, I have Josh Turner. He is a noted expert in LinkedIn, a well-known expert, and I had Josh give me some real advanced level kind of tools on there. So you see there was a module we had called Facebook for Business. What's the title of this one? Using LinkedIn for Business, I think, on this one, Gina. We roll to the top. Scroll back up. Gina, can you scroll back up there to the top on that? Pretty please. And we can see... There it is, a module using LinkedIn for Business. Very simple. And so we put in the module that we did was standard for all of them, but then we brought in a lot of extra material, extra videos we had done, some PDFs we had created, and a couple areas we had some MP3 audio files that we put in there. So when you go to module 8 on this product, for instance, you're going to really learn a lot, comprehensive learning on LinkedIn itself. And
hey,
then
Terry, question.
Module 7, for instance, is Facebook. I'm sorry, Tom, you got another question?
Yeah, so looking at the format of presentation that you put out here. Now this is clearly on terryBrock.com/byb/mod8. This is a website. This is not Facebook. So tell us about what did it take to create this environment, and how easy it for you to edit, or are you having somebody creating this very clean, very professional, well-staged look and feel? Because everything is edged properly. There's a good user experience here.
Oh, well, thank you, Tom. You're asking some really good questions. I like that. And Gina, I want your input on this also, because what we did is I create what the video, we can do that, and I go by the advice from Peter Drucker: do what you do best and hire the rest. So I could, but I don't get involved in website development and building and pages and all that. Gina has a wonderful tack of being able to work with teams. She did that in her real estate business, in her mortgage business, in her brokerage business beforehand, does it really well. So we tie into people that we've met through tools like Odesk, which is now called Upwork, Elance, and others. Gina, why don't you comment a little bit about building the team and how we get things done and implemented?
Okay, great. Yeah, I was just pulling up a screen there I wanted to show to people. Yeah, just to add to how to edit those videos, Terry's good at the editing. I don't do video editing. I've tried a few times. I get real frustrated. So what I do generally is I go to Upwork.com, and I will put out a job request for a video editor, and I just tell them what I want: cut here, add here, do that. And Terry's actually started using video editors more also, and he's put together a format for how he wants his videos done. And so that's one of the things to do. I'm sharing a screen right now, right? So you guys can see that?
Yes.
Okay. And what I wanted to show you is how I communicate with one of my team members when we are working on projects. I use Google Docs, and I know we're just throwing a lot of stuff out at you guys, but you asked. So on Google Docs, we will go and I share the information here with my team members. I can share with people around the world. And when I do that, I'm able to just let them know. Let's see. I'm able to give instructions on what I want done. So I put the instructions there, and that's where we communicate. Some of my vendors I communicate in a secret Facebook group that only he or she and I are the member of. And so that's where we communicate there. So that course that we were talking about, Build Your Business, terrybrock.com/BYB. You can see that if you did want more information about that. So we had that recorded. we had the web guy. I just call him my web guy, Marcus. He's a cool guy. And I would send over the modules. I'd put them in the Google Doc. I would give the instructions, what I wanted, what, we would have them recorded for video. It's recorded for audio, additional modules to add. And we protected that. When you set up an online course, you need to protect it and we use something called Wishlist Member. We've also used another one called Digital Access Pass. There are several different ones you want to evaluate and see which one's best for you, but it protects it. So if you were to click members login on the BYB page, terrybrock.com/BYB, you can't log in because you're not a member unless you bought it yet. Down at the bottom with the buy button, of course, that would be a great thing to do. I want it now. So we market it, then we protect it, so people can get that information and we can communicate with people. They can have access to all those modules, as well as that's a great place to share new products that we have coming out. So if you're not doing these online products, Terry talked about non-airplane money. It's one of the most important things you can do. And with that, I know it's coming up on break time, so we want to be sensitive to that. Terry, did you have any final remarks before we go to break?
Yeah, I would say one of the things you'll want to do also is make sure that we can go ahead and stop the screen sharing there. One of the things you want to do is get that team in place. Going back to Tom's question, very important to find out what you can do. You can create the content. You do that very well, and we've got a tool right now that is tailor-made for us as speakers. We can connect with people around the world, and we don't always have to jump on an airplane. Now, we can, because we do that, and it's fun when we can do it, but we can do a lot more this way and leverage ourselves to a lot more. Get the systems in place. I now have people that I'm working with that have a format that they know my format, so I send them the raw MP4. They know how to bring in an animated footage for an opening. They know how to bring in a lower third, put titles, and being able to put, like, for instance, if I'm over here, we can bring in a graphic up here. Very nice to do. And then we can move back over here this way. This is really good. So you're able to do what you do best, make it look very professional, and work with people around the world through services like Upwork. That's the one we use, so we're most familiar with it. And I would highly recommend doing that more.
Quick question, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, Terry, before we leave the video, I like to stand and move, but every video I see of most speakers.
Who's asking that question, by the way? Oh, there it is, Judy. Hi.
Yeah,
That's Judy.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go back on camera, but anyway, my voice is so big.
Oh, you look wonderful on camera, Judy.
Thank you, dear.
On camera, don't
Yeah, where's my camera? Where's my spotlight, right? But before we leave, almost every speaker's video I see, everybody's sitting down. I like to stand, move, coach, talk, speak, teach. I haven't seen any videos like that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I like to do that. Today I'm sitting down. I'm just sitting here. But what I've got actually, there, I'm going to show you. We're right here at our home. So I'm going to show you something that I've not shown any audience. Gina, I don't think I've ever shown this before. I got some of these that I had, just little holders. And actually, you know what they're for? Look at this. Anybody, guess what goes in there?
VHS.
VHS tape. I've got some of these that I left over, and I've calculated I've got just enough that it lets me stack these on my desk right here, and then I stand up and move around. I use a wireless mic instead of the microphone I'm using right now. Matter of fact, one of the things we wanted to talk about was the mics to use. By the way, how is my voice coming through right now for you?
Outstanding.
Perfect.
It's because I highly recommend, circle this one and red flag it. You want to use an external microphone. You don't see this one. Notice it's strategically, I'm showing you all the stuff. Here's, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain there. But this is what we do. We bring in the microphone. I'm using the Yeti microphone. This is the one that
Yeti, Y-E-T-I.
What's that, Tom?
Is that Yeti, Y-E-T-I?
Yes, thank you. Y-E-T-I, Yeti microphone from Blue Microphones. Blue, like a B-L-U-E. And they sent me this one to use. It was one of the first. This is the one that Steve Jobs went to them and said, we don't have any right now. We need a microphone for Macs. We need it for our Apple products. And they said, you got to make this. And he said, you must price it at $150. They said, Steve, we can't do that. It's got to be $250. And Steve said, no, you got to do it at $150. And so they eventually worked on it and came up with it. Now you can get them for below that. But make sure that you have that. Gina, I see you're putting up there to have GinaCarr.com/resources. You can get these there.
Yeah, we found that in a lot of our meetings we're talking about microphones and monopods and all kinds of things, and so we're making it easy for you. You can go to terrybrock.com/resources or ginacarr.com/resources, and everything we mentioned is not necessarily included, but a lot of it is, and some of it are affiliate links for us, some of it are not. And one of the other things is ginacarr.com/live stream tips. I'm going to be consolidating a lot of the additional links that we've talked about today, some of the tips, all of that. And if you want to get that, just go over there, ginacarr.com/live stream tips, and I'll be happy to send that to you and tell you more about it. I see we have another question. Tom, it's your call. Do you want to take the question? Should we hold the question?
Very quickly.
Okay, just a comment. So I have a standing desk for my IKEA, so I can just roll it and it can go up and down.
Nice.
Really cool tool for people that just sit in front of the computer and want to stand every once in a while. Another thing to manage teams is slack.com. Slack.com is really good for managing.
Yes. Very good tool.
Great
Thanks for
input,
mentioning.
yes.
Yeah, that's real important. And by the way, the standing is really important. Judy, going back to your question, the standing, really helpful. Matter of fact, I've heard today that sitting is the new smoking. We know that sitting all day is not healthy for you. It is important that you stand up. And I find I like to do webinars and seminars and virtual presentations standing. You've got more energy that way. You get up, you're moving around, doing that, but make sure you still use a separate microphone. And for that, I like to use a lavalier that I'll clip on, and so I can move around a little bit that way.
Great. Why don't we take a break right now? My watch, and I don't know if there's a clock in the room, but I have about 10:28 local time, and we'll take 13 minutes. We'll come back at 10:40. All right.
10:40. Okay. We have a time of 13:25 here. 25 minutes after.
All right. Well, then we'll come back. We'll use yours. We'll take a 15-minute break and come back at 13:40.
Sounds good. And we'll leave this open so that during the break, if someone has a question they want to ask real quick or so, we'll be here just for off camera, and we are still recording.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Thanks so much. Yeah. Anybody can talk that wants to. Just come on up and.
Tom?
Sure. Come on up.
Hi, Terry. I do have a question.
Hi. What's your name?
Can we hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your name?
Linda Drevenstedt.
Hi, Linda.
Yeah, somewhere back in GSA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. And you remember GSA.
Yeah. You talked about the microphone, but what about the camera part? So much in Skype, you look really weird. You know, people look all like flat. So what's the?
Some of us look weird naturally, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, yeah, I accept that also. So what about the camera piece?
I think that's a good thing. Matter of fact, we were going to mention that earlier, but I think we got tied up. But I recommend strongly an external webcam. An external webcam, and the one that I'm using, that Gina's also using, that I tell our clients to use, is the Logitech C920. That way I can pick it up and I can point around. Like, for instance, right now, I can pick this up and I can say, oh, look at this object right here. See this? This is an object. It does that. So when I'm doing coaching, it's real easy to point to it. Or I can, as I did earlier, say, hey, look what's going on outside in Orlando right now. That's what Orlando looks like right now, with some clouds, another beautiful day as we look out over the lake, et cetera, et cetera. And then I take this and put it back onto my laptop screen, and then it comes through much better that way.
There you go. Logitech. Okay, thank you so much.
Linda, that is at that resources page.
Hey, Terry and Gina, Tom Hinton from San Diego. I hope.
Hi, Tom.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Question. So once you know your clout score, so what? I mean, from a strategic standpoint, could you talk about that a little bit, either now or when we come back from the break? I mean, strategically, what do you do with that?
Well, it's more for you knowing how you're doing. It's kind of like, in a way, in our book we talk about it, it's like if you know your BMI. Once you know your BMI, how would you use that strategically? Well, it's a good measure. You're standing on the scales, and it's really for you. It's not like you would say, hey, world, I've got a clout score of this. It can work, though, sometimes with meeting planners. Because now sometimes meeting planners will say, gee, we've got three speakers. We need to use one of them for our convention in March. Which one should we get? Those who have a higher clout score could win it, as that it becomes a tiebreaker at times. So you might mention that, but then they can find out quickly what it is. They just go and see what your clout score is today, and there it is.
I notice publishers are also asking for clout scores now.
Yes, Wendy Keller, who is a member of your chapter there in GLAC, has talked about that. And sometimes before they'll accept you as an author and they want to publish your book, they definitely want to look at your clout score. Gina, you've done a lot more research in that also. Anything you want to add?
And just one other question. I'm amazed that there's not a stand that you can elevate your iPhone or a camera. You know, you were talking about using your old VHS boxes. Isn't there some kind of a stand or something that you can buy?
Yes, there's stands you can get that do a real good job. VeriDesk is one that raises the desk, and there's stands like that. But for me, back home out in the country where I grew up, we just kind of grabbed whatever was available. And, you know, books will work, and I had these things. So now I'm actually getting some use out of those old VHS tape holders that I never would use, and it works beautifully for me. So that's why I do it.
Hey, thank you.
You bet. Tom, great to see you. And sir, I think we have a question. Yes, sir. What's your name, sir?
Hi there, Ken Hammond.
Hi, Ken.
For you, Terry, or Gina, have you used Epic Cam with Zoom.us, and how have you seen it work? I've used it, say, at home, and I've used it with live stream, but I've not used it much with Zoom. How has been your experience in using Epic Cam?
The Epic Cam, E-P-I-C Cam?
No, Epic, F-E-C-E-P-O-C.
Wait a minute, A-P-O-C?
And then capital C-A-M.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, Epic Cam is really cool. I use it for my Bible study when I was playing with live stream. You can take your iPhone and you can then have it as a roving cam, so that you can, you know, hook it up and you can, say, be in the audience. A lot of times what I did was I'd show a group studying at a table. So therefore I'd take my iPhone and I'd do that. It ties it into your computer, and then from your computer you can use your iPhone, and when you switch cameras, then you can switch the camera so that you can basically have your own studio and you can have people see it live and etc. I just didn't know if it had been.
I will keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh man,
thank you for sharing that.
it's fantastic, but I really didn't know if you'd used it with Zoom. I would say test it out. It's really cool. Of course, it means that you're in an audience or something, but the cool thing is, if you're going to be doing it live, it's even better because you can have reaction. Like we're standing up here, that's a camera. You wouldn't have to do that. You could take the camera to where the person is, and they could talk from there. So take a look at it, and I'm not sure how I would get in contact with you, but I'd like to see your experience in doing that.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that.
All right.
Okay, Jerry, I think we should take a break.
Okay. Hi, we have someone there on the screen.
How are you? I'm Shirley Archer.
Hi, Shirley.
Forgive my face. I just had a chemical peel.
You look fine.
Enhance our beauty. I want to know how you do your lighting. You both look great. I've done different things, and you get these shadows on your face. So how are you setting up your lighting?
Well, Gina's using a light, the ice light. Gina, are you using the ice light today?
No, I'm not using ice light. It's gone on the blink. So let me visually show you with my camera. I've just taken some cheap store lights, and I don't think it's perfect, but it's working for me. So here's a torch light that I have it pointed up to the ceiling. I don't have this version on at all, just pointed up to the ceiling.
Going upward.
Yeah, and then that's counteracting. I have a lot of natural light on my side here, and I have a screen down. You can see at the bottom, maybe you can see at the bottom, that's an outside window. It's a huge window. So I have a lot of outside light, so I have sort of that muted. And then I do have another, again, just a cheap little clip-on light that I have pointed off to the side. So I've been struggling with my light a little bit. I'm really thrilled to hear you say that you think it looks nice.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I couldn't hear the last thing. So you have light, you have the light, and natural light.
Yeah, so natural light and balance. If you can get frontal light, natural light, which is what Terry has, it's better.
So, and how do you have it, Terry?
Yeah, mine is just like it's all here. The light, you see we've got glass door. I'm looking out the side there for our balcony and the lake, and that is just the natural light, as you can see, even on a cloudy day, a partly cloudy day here in Orlando. And over on the side here, I've got a shutter. Do you see how that shutter has been pulled down a little bit, kind of right down to there? And below that is the natural light from the other side of the lake. That's kind of how we do it, and it works. And then at night, because I do a lot of programs, say for instance with Australia, lately here in Orlando, it's been getting dark at night.
Right.
And so what I do is we use the halogen lamp right there. It's not on right now, but that's what we use, and it works out beautiful. I got another one over here. So those two, that gives me the lighting that I need for night and when it's dark, and it works beautifully.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, Shirley, thank you.
We have one more question.
Yeah, I think we got another question. Hi there. What's your name?
I'm wondering what.
I'm sorry. What is your name?
Deborah Johnson.
Deborah. Nice to see you.
What cordless mic do you use for your video, or do you have Bluetooth? Do you use lapel mic? What type do you use?
Different kinds of mics for different things. I'll use often for my phone, I use the Plantronics Voyager Edge. It goes over the ear, one of those kind of little microphones. It works very nicely for that. And then I'll also use, where is it? I think it's in the other room. I use it a lot on the road, the Backbeat Pro from Plantronics. Yeah, Backbeat Pro is headset that goes on. It's real nice for that.
Okay. So, but you don't have anything that'll clip on for when you do your video for your cordless?
I haven't used wireless for that. I did use the Sony microphone for a while. What do they call it? The ECM something. I think that's over on the resource page. I used it a little bit, and it had a problem with it. I sent it back to Sony, and they gave me a refund. I thought, okay, I was hoping to get it repaired, but they gave me a refund. And so I've just been using wired mics most of the time.
Okay. I just had problems with noise sometimes when I have it on. So, that was why I asked.
That's where something, well, like here, like this right here also can work. This is a Plantronics voice. Notice it has no wires right here, but I can use that, and it has noise cancellation. In this microphone, they have 3 microphones built in to sense what's going on outside and do an exact opposite waveform of it.
Okay.
That way it's really good for excluding noise. And
All right. All right. Good. Okay. Thank you. Terry and Gina, I just wanted to say hi. It's Jody.
Hey, great to see you.
How are you?
Jody, great to see you.
I can hardly hear you. Hi, Gina. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. I couldn't imagine coming to a meeting and having it be virtual, but it's really working. So
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that you like it.
Technology. Amazing things we can do with the technology. I realize right now during the break it's kind of tough to hear.
You know what? I know I had a question, but I'll talk to you later because I know you want to get a little break and he's going to be starting pretty soon. But I just want to say, okay.
Yeah, Terry, did you want to take a quick break?
Yes, we're getting a call here. I don't know who that is.
Why don't you turn off your camera and turn off your microphone for a couple minutes?
Okay.
Okay, troops, ladies and gentlemen, Todd, do you have anything that you want to show on the screen? Okay, so we'll leave Gina and Terry up there as a background. Gina and Terry, we're going to have Todd do a little commentary on the Academy. He'll try to be off in somewhere 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay, that'll give us time to work on Blab because we want to jump over to Blab.
Pardon me?
We'll want to get Blab set up and running.
You know what? I'll take the screen off. I'll take the screen off, and I'll work with you guys to get Blab set up.
Sounds good. And stand by on phone just in case there's any glitches. We can use a cell phone.
Hold on a second. I can't hear you.
Gina, I can't hear you.
Get the mute button on.
Okay. I put it in the chat here, And I also put it in the Facebook message.
You also put it where?
Facebook message.
Good.
But it's in the chat right here, so grab it here.
Okay, great. Let me take a look. Is that it? Okay, I see link for the Blab. It's at GLAC demo, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go there, and then I'll meet you over there.
Okay.
Sounds good.